For today, we're playing The Witcher 3 and with the ROG ally, and we're playing the game at 1080p at the highest settings. Here we are with that. Again 1080p, and playing at high, and no NVIDIA hairworks of course. And one extra thing, I'm playing with the classic patch of this game and not the next gen update, because in my experience the next gen update is far more inconsistent and is far harder to run. I've got videos of the Steam Deck playing with the classic version versus the next gen update, and yeah, it's just not worth it. With the next gen update you get ray tracing, DLSS, I think FSR as well, and all those things are kind of worthless. We can't use ray tracing, it is far too intensive, and for upscaling the game already plays fine with the classic version, so the extra FPS, not really worth it. So yeah, let's jump into it, see how we go. Alright, first things first, I'm going to go and load in to the open world, and then afterwards we can go ahead and go to a town and see how the CPU handles it. Alright, let's go. 30 watts, 1080p, and yeah, here we are on this path. GPU is fully maxed out, and we're sitting at 50 FPS slash, it's the mid 40s and the high 40s. So honestly, for a controller game, this feels fine. It's very much playable, and already this is a great start. For me personally, I would avoid playing at 1080p on the ally screen, because on those lower resolutions it looks as good as 1080p or as sharp, and the performance is much better. Right here we're getting a couple of stutters, but it's not too bad. Let's keep moving on. I think last year when I got the ally, the first game that I installed was The Witcher 3. I had it on the SD card. It worked for about, I think, a week or two, or I played it for a week or two, and after that I played with the 30 watt mode for a couple of days, and the SD card started having issues, and then eventually it fully died. The port died, and the SD card itself was also fried, so that was that, and The Witcher 3 was obviously gone as well. But I played for a good couple hours and it was playing fine back then, so I'm not surprised now. Let's pause it here guys and load a different save and see how we go in Novigrad. So as we saw before in the open world, our bottleneck was the GPU. It was fully maxed out at all times. It had some stutters, keep that in mind, but yeah, the bottleneck was the GPU. And now in Novigrad, our bottleneck is okay. It's pretty mixed. The GPU does fall down into the low 90s, but at the same time it does go up there, and it does get fully utilized, which is nice. So not too bad, I'm actually surprised. We're playing at the high settings and the GPU is still up there. For the FPS, it is a bit lower, in the low 40s now instead of the mid to high 40s and the low 50s. For me, this is definitely playable. Again, it does stutter here and there, so keep that in mind. But yeah, so far, it's pretty good. Oh, cutscene. We're getting confronted, are we? If I have my speech up, we should be good. I don't have my speech up. I don't want to fight them because this save is on the hardest difficulty. Oh my god. I don't want to punch chat, guys. Leave me alone. The part that I hate about this game is if you get into a battle, he doesn't want to run away. He will always face them, and escaping is just impossible. And you can't jump or jump over things. It's a pain. I hate it. It's one of the annoying things about this game. But the hardest difficulty wasn't too bad, at least with this version. If you get the next gen update though, you can't use the perk that gives you half an hour of regen, so healing becomes a problem. But with this version, there's a perk that you get, and if you eat food, it will give you 30 minutes of healing. Insanely good, because all you gotta do is just chill out and fight if you're low on health, and you'll eventually get your health back. So the hardest difficulty isn't too bad. Alright, so yeah, there we have it guys. That's 30 watts at 1080p. Again, I would avoid this unless you're playing on a TV or a big screen. On the ally screen, it looks fantastic of course, but a bit overkill. Let's pause it here, play at 900p, try it again. Alright, 900p, same settings. Here we are with that. I mean, it's the same of course, so there's not much point in me scrolling down. But there we have it. And there we go, outside. FPS is sitting in the 60s. GPU is still fully maxed out, so we could go ahead and lower the settings and get more. But 60 FPS of course is fantastic, and there's not much point in playing at a lower preset or resolution to get more. Alright, here we go though. I think in 2019, I think it was, I bought a Switch on sale, and I picked up The Witcher 3 as well. And the first time that I played this game was on the Switch, which is crazy to say, but I was playing this on the train like an hour or two every day, and then like at home as well, a couple hours here and there. I think I put 110 hours into this game on the Switch, and the game looks pretty bad now. It's like 720p, or lower than 720p of course, probably like 480p. And the graphics are of course on the lowest settings. You can't see as much grass, the shadows are pretty bad, FPS is mostly 30 surprisingly, but it does fall down of course. But still, a great port on the Switch. It was fantastic. And it came with the map I think in the box, which I still have. I sold the Switch in the game of course, but I still kept the map because it was, you know, pretty sweet. And I went around and I did all the side quests, the main game, and I got every treasure box that was on the map as well. I played the DLC, the first one I think, for a good hour or two, but at that point the game was on sale on Steam, came with everything for like 10 bucks, so I bought it on that because I already loved the game, and playing the game all over again on the hardest difficulty this time. And then after I beat the game on the hardest difficulty, I didn't play the DLC, so I still haven't finished the DLC on this game. But I will at some point, I will go back and finish it, because apparently it's really good. Yeah, at this point guys, it's a stable 60 for the most part. I don't think I saw it fall below it. And lastly for the graphics guys, it looks amazing, as good as before. So that's why if you're playing on the built-in screen, it's best to play at 100p. It's looking as sharp as before, and the FPS gains are definitely worth it. Let's pause it here guys, and go back to Novigrad, and try it again. Novigrad, and wow. Surprisingly again, 60 FPS, but we are looking at a wall. Let's turn around. Okay, not too bad actually. Does fall down a bit, but still in the 50s. So although before our GPU wasn't fully maxed out, it was sitting at like 95%, it wasn't being fully held back either. So playing at a lower resolution is helping us out here as well. And to be honest, if you're playing blind without the FPS counters on, 50 FPS is the same feel as 60 FPS. It's identical on the controller. So for me, this is a 60 FPS experience regardless. Now playing at 15 watts, we are sitting at 40 FPS. That is pretty good guys, that is pretty good. Again, this is the high settings. So I'm pretty impressed. Yeah, not much to show you guys. Let's back out and go to Novigrad. That is the most important part of the video pretty much. Man, 40 FPS still? That is super impressive. That is nice. Now our GPU is still fully maxed out for the most part, so I think at 720p the FPS might be nearing 60. So I'm gonna guess 53 to 55 FPS on average. You know what? Let's fight those guys, why not? Let's see if the game has any issues, but it should be fine. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Okay, let's see the hardest difficulty there. The guy's level 26. I got one tapped. Now, let's back out, play at 720p, and see if 60 FPS is doable at 15 watts. And here we go with that. There we go, 50 FPS. Ooh, down into the 40s there. But I said it would be, what, 53 to 55? A bit under that. But still 50 FPS, or close to it, is pretty nice. Back into Novigrad, and the FPS is still sitting in the 50s. That is fantastic. Not bad at all, guys. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth it now to play at 720p if you want to get the extra frames. Because right here we sat into the low to mid 40s, so getting on average 50 FPS is pretty good. So yeah, in conclusion, if you're playing in dock mode on the TV or a big monitor, then 30 watts at 1080p. If you're playing plugged in on the built-in screen, then 30 watts at 900p. And if you're playing portably at 15 watts, then you can do 900p or 720p. It's really up to you pretty much. One last test before I go. And 10 watts at the high settings is not great. We are bottlenecked quite heavily. GPU is now sitting at 70% usage instead of 90% usage. Yeah. Not great, is it? Alright, lowest settings, guys. Let's see how we go. Is 30 FPS doable now? Hopefully it is, because we were playing at high. And back into the same spot in Novigrad. The FPS is doing much better. 28 to 30. Not bad at all, actually. If you're playing on the Switch, this is what you're getting pretty much. It's lower than 720p, but the graphics are on the lowest pretty much. Or even lower than low. So yeah, not too bad to be honest. It does definitely pass. If you can't charge your ally and you're on the go, then this is definitely a way to do it. Not the smoothest, of course, but it saves the most power. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Next video. See you guys then.